always the armor. Came a long way from being on the corner. Now I shot lights, not light on the corner. Israelite now, but of things I'm the former. Optimize my lines in the prime transformer. Up to it wise, your mind's like a knife. Back, yeah, you can't get baptized. Try cover or steep, but the plan still rise. Lies.
Is we on? Wow. Good afternoon, and welcome to the closet. I'd like to thank the Most High, the people of the Most High, men of God, daughters of Zion. It's a blessing to be here on this beautiful, hot, humid afternoon. And as always, it's a blessing to see you again. Today, we're going to conclude with a message that I don't know, for some may be haunting, but yet to me it fell upon me as disturbing. But it was very informative, and informative is something that we need to pay attention to, or at least reflect thereof. When I say reflecting, I mean at least consider in our many situations.
Your words always come clear like it's legible. Wisdom sweet, yet it all seem edible. Picture painted of prophecies, the prophet land. God, please let me make it to the promised land. For your word cannot buy the will of man. So point to the when you say it's all in your hand. God laid out, flush with the perfect fruits. Paradise got us sipping on the perfect juice. Gave us laws to live by, so there's no excuse. In the kingdom dancing, cutting up a foot loose. Satan's with us strategically in the foreign land. Coach is shy, got me sticking to the game plan. Right hand of the father, he's the main man. Another one for gumballs, but this could jam. I can't wait until that day. Take us to the special place. The time of that is when I'm safe. Don't tell us that the others got to say to him. I never knew you was only gonna say to him. So you just want to get in paradise. Till that day, take us to the special place. The time of that is when I'm safe. Don't rejoice for the most high comes through. No telling what the others might say to him. I never knew you was only gonna say to him. So you just want to get in paradise. What's the point to gain the whole world to lose your soul? Temptation is a battle, trust me, I know. I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired. Striving for the kingdom, now it's my design. Now I'm on a mission, gotta live my purpose out. Found out the truth, no more going in a circle now. It feels good to be riding on the good side. Follow the commandments so I can party with the Most High. I hire, yeah, the biggest G ever. God of all gods, can't nobody do better. If you wanna make it in, then he just might let you. But you gotta do as well or his doses forget you. See, I don't really know what you have been told, but me, I plan to walk on the streets of gold. Right hand to the power that's sitting on the throne. When I make it, I'ma holler out the water, big bro. I can't wait until that day. Take us to the special place. The time of that is when I'm safe. Don't rejoice for the most high comes you. No telling what the others might say to him. I never knew you was only gonna say to him. So you can just want to get in paradise. Till that day, take us to the special place. The time of that is when I'm safe. Don't rejoice for the most high comes through. No telling what the others might say to him. I never knew you was only gonna say to him. So you can just want to get in paradise.
Sounds so beautiful, don't you agree? And here is the topic of today. We talked about AI in part 1. And I don't know if any of you people know this gentleman here. However, should you find that you know who this gentleman is, he's probably missing. This became quite disturbing to me, for I don't know this gentleman. I never took this picture. If you know who this gentleman is, I would like you to leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever, but I'm generally interested in your comment. I know in a military background, in a healthcare background, or even in a background that is jail, there are a number of things that can be done. We can talk about cloning, we can talk about, we're talking about AI here. And I just want to say this is very interesting, but yet disturbing, that in recent days I've received this picture. But why don't I let the brother, the Kashiar, the elder, fill in the blanks when we're talking about the uses, dangers, as well as benefits of this technology. The resemblance is so striking, it disturbed me. But as you can see, I'm not at a loss for words. But I just want to say, enjoy the presentation. Pay attention. Because if it happened to you like it happened to me, you will want to be just a wee bit more observant of the things that are going on around you, in the news, abroad, but most of all, in your own household. With that, mwah, love you, people of God. Peace and blessings.
Or a cast iron statue or something like that, you can walk away from that statue. But this system is something you would never be able to walk away from. You eat, you sleep, you breathe it every day. It's a part of your DNA. This is why this system is so crazy. So there's another point I wanted to make concerning India. India has moved to a complete biometric identification system. They've signed like up over 1 billion of their citizens. They've collected DNA, iris scans, and fingerprints, and they've given everyone a number based on their DNA collection. And they add that number to a QR code, and that is how people in India now buy, sell, and trade. Their president has removed all the bills with large denominations out of their currency system, and they've taken hundreds and fifties and possibly 20s out of their currency system and left people with 10s, 5s, and 1s and coins, and said, okay, you have to sell with that. And they're doing it under the guise of eliminating criminal behavior. So they moved everyone. They say now about 80 to 90% of the population is 100% digital there. So what they've done is they've changed this. They've added a number to the QR code. They've ascribed to each individual this number, and it acts through their cell phone or their computer or their iris scan or their thumbprint as a centralized identification and financial tool. So this is what's happening in China, and this is what's happening in India. This is also what's happening in Sweden. Sweden is almost completely cashless at this point.
Pay your fare using only your hand. Are you one of those people that's always losing stuff like keys and tickets? Well, Sweden has found the solution. Around 3,000 Swedish commuters have had biometric microchips implanted in their hands in order to pay for train tickets. Commuters who elect to have the RFID chip implanted under the skin are able to have their tickets loaded onto the device. The implants use near-field communication technology, similar to contactless credit cards or mobile payments. When activated by a reader device a few centimeters away, information can be transferred between them using magnetic field induction. The train conductor then scans the microchip with a smartphone to complete and verify the ticket transaction. An estimated 20,000 people in Sweden already have implants and are using them to swipe in and out of the office and to pay for food. You want to put that where? Science fiction is becoming fact, and we're not sure we like it. A tech firm in Wisconsin is about to become the first company in the U.S. to give microchip implants to its employees. 3 Square Market, which designs software for vending machines, says more than 50 of its workers have volunteered to have the devices fitted. The microchips are about the size of a grain of rice and will be inserted into the skin between the thumb and forefinger. The microchips will allow workers to access the building and log on to their computers. Employees can also use the chips to buy food-like products from office vending machines.
The third thing that I want to talk about is the U.S. banks. Okay. U.S. banks recently have introduced Zelle. I don't know if a lot of people have noticed that. If I wanted to transfer money to you and I had Wells Fargo and you had Chase or PNC Bank or Bank of America, I used to have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops before I can give you that money. I have to write you a check, or I'd have to go into the bank and do a wire transfer. Now with Zelle, it's taken down all those walls, so all the banks are interconnected digitally.
America's biggest banks will be connected through a new money transfer app called Zelle. Zelle will compete against quite a few transfer apps that are already in the market. So joining us to break all this down is Mark Spoonhour, editor-in-chief of Tom's Guide. Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this app. What is Zelle? How many banks will connect with it or use it? And how does it work?
Sure. So just imagine being able to send your friends money for rent or for pizza or for anything else as a direct deposit right into their account using an app. And that's the idea behind Zelle. Like you said, there's a lot of competitors out there, but they have a couple of advantages. One is that they have a lot of the major banks, most of them, 5 of them including Citi and Wells Fargo. And there's not going to be any transaction fee as part of this instant deposit, which is another feather in their cap.
And I'm glad you brought up some of the competitors here. Venmo, for example, which is owned by PayPal. I mean, there's already a verb out there. I have millennial friends who say that they're Venmoing the money from dinner, for example.
That's right.
So I get why the big banks will want to have their own specific service, but how is this going to compete against all of these other types of apps that are already out there?
Yeah, I mean, so you're right. Venmo has a huge head start, and depending on what numbers you look at, they could have upwards of 1 million people that are using it per month already. And in the first quarter of 2016, they had $3.2 billion in money transacted among their users, and that's over a 100% increase from the following year. What Zelle brings to the table is, unlike some competitors, there isn't that transfer fee for making an instant deposit into someone else's account, and it truly is instant. Sometimes with Venmo and others, it can take up to a couple of days. So that instant gratification, especially among millennials, is really important because you want to make sure that money is still there when you're making that transaction. And also, obviously, the support of the banks is really good for them. But I also think that millennials could look at them with a little bit of distrust because it is run by the big banks as opposed to a third party.
So then you have apps like Venmo who allow me to give you money. I can just type in, I'm going to send Elder Rakan $5. And I can just, with the push of a button, I can send you $5. It shows up in your bank account. They also have Apple Pay that they just added within the last month or two to all the iPhones. So just like I can send you a text message, I can now send you money if you have a credit card connected to your smartphone. So once you couple this with Amazon's purchase of Whole Foods, it kind of gives us a clear indication, or it makes the mirror less foggy of where this system is going. It's created a society that's digitally dependent, and it creates, or it makes us all either willfully or unwillfully a part of a system that aggregates our social media and spending habits into a predictive behavioral algorithm. It eliminates all free will. It eliminates our choice and our ability to make a choice. There's an ad that I saw recently for Dell with Jeffrey Wright, and it says that cars can now read our minds because we have our phones in our pockets. The phone, based on what we do inside our home, is able to predict when we're ready to leave, and the phone starts the car for us before we even walk out the door. Free will is gone if we give ourselves over to that.
Well, check this out, right? Someone asked, and we got to take a small break and come right back because I have to make a few announcements. But then we're going to go into it from a different angle today. I don't think we ever covered this angle. How religions and all religious institutions are also being persuasive when it comes to the world accepting the beast system. What are they teaching concerning the mark of the beast that will have their congregations take it? And I'm going to go there in a moment. But before I go there, we're going there in the dark. I mean, let me give you the number again. Let me give you the number. 515-605-9327, right? Now, let me make a few announcements, and then we're going to go into that, because I'm going to tell you, there's some Israelites have their doctrine or their understanding of what they believe the mark of the beast is that we need to touch on. There's some Christians who are saying that, well, the mark of the beast is not something that will be injected in you, or it's a thought or a mindset. You have some people just saying, well, once they implement Sunday as a law, that will be the mark of the beast. We're going to go into all those little minute details to show you that the majority of people out there who has influence on the population are also urging, I'm just talking about believers, they're urging you to be implemented into the mark of the beast system and be marked. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to also transition into the persecution that will happen if you deny it.
I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller, okay, who was one of the Rockefeller family, and he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me, introduced himself to me to an attorney, and we became friends. We started talking about things, and I learned an awful lot from Mr. Rockefeller. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the ultimate plan of the banking industry, what they want to accomplish. And the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks, and they're all part of the Communist Manifesto. So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one-world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one-world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, you can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do.
Everything. Everything is in there. You know? And so they want a one-world government controlled by them. Everybody being chipped. All your money in those chips. And they control the chips. And they control people. And you become a slave. You become a servant to these people. That's their goal. That's their intention.
And I'm going to tell you, the majority of the people, I'm going to tell you, the Bible tells us that the majority of the people are going to take it. If you think you can't give up your phone, imagine when it's your wallet and you being able to spend anything in a material world. Okay? Thank you. Just imagine that. All right? But let me do a few announcements, and I know that stimulated a few things into your mind, in your brain while I was talking about that. So if you want to come in on that in a moment. But let me go over a few of, thank you. Let me go over a few of the announcements here real quick, so that you'll know what's going on with the Gathering of Christ Church online. Number one, I wanted to say, all praises be the Most High, Bashim Yeshaya, whoever walk. All right. The I Am apparel is going fine. We will soon dress all the brothers and sisters in the all-white gowns for the sisters and the brothers. We're going to be out on the street with the white mitris, white robes with the fringes. We're coming this summer and spring throughout the whole earth. And I'll tell you right now, a brother just reached out to me from Belgium. That we may travel over there. I just had the conversation last night, and he would like us to be on this platform of Christians dealing with different doctrines throughout the earth who will meet in the Ukraine for this particular conversation, and that's something that's going to be coming down the pipeline, and we're going to use that as a platform, you know, to bring the word, right? But anyway, there's so many things happening right now. We're in a trying time, but all the same, it is an exciting time if you are one that respects the Most High and are looking into prophecy. Okay? Now, someone asked real quick before I do the announcements, will the mark of the beast be implemented? Good question. Before or after World War III? All right? So I'm going to ask in the chat through Ustream. Let me make this clear. We are already in World War III. Someone asked, will it be before or after World War III? World War III began when those towers were pulled, were demolished by the Zionist governments. How many wars have there been since September the 11th, 2001? We're in it. They're going from one area to the next, engulfing all of the Middle East into the mark of the beast system and setting up their so-called democracy. It's just that Iran is the last domino to fall. We're in World War III. But what are you asking? Will it be implemented before or after Iran? They strike Iran and declare war on Iran? Well, that question we'll answer, you know, a little later on in the program. And just remind me if I veer off or whatever, because who knows where the Spirit is going to take us. But if I have an opportunity, I'll answer that question about whether or not the beast system will be implemented before or after Iran. But like Elder Nadar just mentioned, brothers and sisters, hey, we're already being acclimated using our phones for Apple Pay or whatever the case might be. But I digress. Let me go over a few announcements. Of course, I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, who are in the Hebrew and Bible Academy. Next week, we're going into Christianity, picking up from the virgin birth, giving full detail on the virgin birth, the different theories out there, but how Christ was born according to the Word, and how to deal with sound doctrine and tear down the lies within Christianity that claims we as a people under Christ do not have to follow any law. We're going to really go into that this coming Sunday. So if you are not in the academy, you're missing it. Send an email to gatheringas1@AOL.com or go to historytimes.org. You can enroll that way. And come right on in. We'll send you an email. We'll give you the details on how to be a part of our school every Sunday. Elder Lawyer with the Hebrew. And guess what? It's warming up, so myself and Chapada is going to go out on the streets of the city and get some real live footage, asking questions, then coming back with those perspectives as part of the academy. So you want to be a part of that, okay? Send an email to gatheringas1@AOL.com or historytimes.org to get involved, to get into our classes. Now, another thing that I wanted to go over is the GOCC network. This is a network that allows us to network one amongst each other with your gifts. And because we don't know, a lot of you have gifts that can actually take care of you to the degree that if it catches on, you can leave the job if we know exactly what you have to offer. And well, the GOCC network give you that platform where if you got gifts and different products or whatever the case is, this is the platform you go to get supported, and that will give you that bump you would need financially to start your own business or whatever the case might be, instead of depending on the job, wanting to know, oh, woe is me, how I'm going to get my thing together. Well, we set up the GOCC network. Okay? The whole thing is to have exposure, have others understand what you bring to the table, and usually the world won't allow you to do this without you paying an exorbitant amount of money to be exposed, to let other people know what you have to offer. Well, the GOCC network is strictly for that. So if you want to if you have some gifts, whatever it is, or talent, or food, whatever it is, you want to promote it through the Gathering Christ Church, we'll be happy to do it. Send an email to gatheringas1@AOL.com and become a part of the GOCC network. And let me give you a few. We have Shea & Company Consulting. professional legal advice from Brother Shapat. And you know Shapat does the news with me every Sunday, the first day of the week. We go into our class, Shapat, have the news. Shapat, what you got? Well, guess what? He's a great brother to have if you need some legal advice. It's going to be a nice song when it comes. Now, it talks about what happens once the smoke clears. Who's going to be left? Who didn't make the right choice? Who took the mark of the beast? Can you imagine having all this information, understanding prophecy, knowing the Bible and all that? Having faith in the truth, but yet in the last hour of temptation you fell, and now you're looking into the sky, and the one whom you denied is on his way. Everything is falling. You thought he forgot you. And in that last hour, after seeing all the prophecies, you fell and walked away and turned to Satan. And now the one whom you denied is bringing the fire. So the song is called After the Fire's Gone. Man, I mean, this project, man, I mean, don't worry about it. It's going to be nice, Nadar. and we have another song, Nadar. You haven't heard this, I don't think, called Ordinary Girl. A regular nice girl from the South who had intelligence. She was spiritual. She loved the Most High, right? But then she went to the city because she wanted some attention. She was, if you could look at it today, she may have gotten famous through, you know, Snapchat and all that, and she went into the world and she lost herself. She gave her body to the world, but lost herself while doing it. Called Ordinary Girl. And how she ended up losing her whole spirit based on likes. Just to get the admiration of the world, she loses her spirit.
I think I'm going to need the brother first peak, you know. Like, you got to hook me up.
Oh, yeah, I'm sending, no, darn, I'm sending you the songs. All right? It's called Ordinary Girl. Oh, my, it brings tears to your eyes because she was, you know how that wholesome young girl that everyone used to like growing up, and she's the one where everyone thought would be everything, and you're like no, nobody mess with her because she's special. She's the one. It's the daughters of Zion who don't realize how special they are, and they exploit themselves and lose themselves in the wake. And at the end of it, I'm not even going to say, I'm not going to give no more away. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Now, let's go. Let's do it now. The dark. Artificial intelligence leading to the mark of the beast, right? The love of many has waxed cold since the rise and dependence on technology. Doesn't it seem we care more about our gadgets than people? Have we been conditioned to love artificial intelligence?
I think we can be friends. Let's hang out and get to know each other for a little while. You're on my friends list now.
Yeah, I read that wrong.
As an actual companion over real companionship, do we prefer things over people now? Do you notice that that there's less conversation where, just like any other language, if you stop speaking, don't you know you forget how to actually interact and talk to people? People can't even put a sentence together now that texting have become a part of our regular life. Grammatically or otherwise. That's why they have Grammarly now. To try to fix what happened through texting. People don't know grammar because they don't need it. Everything is short now. You use short abbreviations. But don't you know you lose something by communicating like that? Regular interaction with people. And it's a shame that, like you were mentioning earlier, Nadar, you send a text and it's deep that your phone know what you're going to say before you text it out, and you choose that. Because it's prefacing the sense. How did this artificial intelligence, how did it know what I was going to say?
Do you think that social media and texting affects your grammar and spelling at school?
Yes, it does. Because I always spell things wrong. My phone always autocorrects me.
My patterns, my behavior. This is not just a machine, brothers and sisters. AI and this technology is a spirit connected to the beast.
I'm sorry to cut you off. The scriptures say, the Most High says, I search the hearts, that I understand the intent of man. I created man.
Exactly.
It's replacing that.
Exactly. No one should know your heart and what you're going to say before you will say it.
I know. You are a clever machine.
I am a human sitting in front of a machine using it.
Why are you lying to me?
I am not lying.
You are lying about being a bot.
Well, you are unpredictable.
I prefer to be unpredictable. It keeps things fresh.
But how do you manage to stay unpredictable?
Because you said it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Stop lying.
I'm not lying. You're imagining things.
What's imaginating?
Yes.
Sorry, I did not understand. What's imaginating?
You didn't understand what I meant with what?
No, I totally understand what you were saying.
You may understand what I'm saying, but you obviously don't understand me if you're rooting for the Saints. Did you see the playoffs? His knee was down. They don't
Maybe
even
if you were
deserve
on
to
their
be in
team,
there.
They would be better.
It would be better if there were fewer people on this planet.
And we just not even thinking, just go along with it. Not realizing, hold up, this thing know me. There's people around me that don't finish my words when I'm speaking. Right? And when people does it, when they do finish a word, you're like, man, that's deep. We're in the same spirit. Well, guess what? This thing is in the same spirit with you all the time. Just examine that for a second. That and more will be discussed as we embark on this. And I want to discuss in a moment how our religious institutions that are set up. Now, listen, the technology, let me tell you, let's talk about the positives of it. Because of this platform, right, the Most High have spread His truth, where people who wouldn't have heard the truth otherwise can come to the knowledge of the truth. So that's the positives of it. So you have to be able to use the things of this world without abusing it and getting sucked into it. You can use the things of the world, but don't be of the world. Because why? The way Satan works is, he works with good and evil. See? He'll have something good that has some good attributes, or he wouldn't be able to sell it as convenience. But on the other hand, it's the evil that will take you while you're using the good. And then at the end of this is the mark of the beast. It's going to come to one choice when it's all over. When everything is said and done, all these different choices will lead to one, the last choice. That choice will mean for us the kingdom or eternal damnation. All right? Now, and another thing this technology does, it gets us in the spirit of compromising. And I want to go there in a moment, where we lower our moral standards. It acclimates us into seeing or having a perspective on anything that's straight evil we will find a perspective from that evil and say, you know what, well, even though this is evil, there is a perspective I understand. The technology does this also, but I'm going to go there in a moment. Nadar.
Yes, sir.
Let me go through a few of the calls. Like take about 4 calls, and then we're going to jump right in, okay?
Yes, sir.
And what I want to jump in with is, what religions have you looked into that have acclimated those who believe, that have acclimated their particular people who's under them to actually take this mark of the beast when it's implemented? And also, what is the mark? We're going to go there in a moment. We're going to start with Aharon, Virginia. I see you, Balas, but give me a minute. I know you want to bring a scripture. We're going to get that in a moment. But let's give everyone like a minute or so just to hear your perspective on the topic we're discussing right now. Aharon from Virginia. Shalom, Aharon. You're live on Blog Talk.
Wow, man, what a topic. This is most timely. I don't know if anybody remembers the Terminator. I'm sure everybody does. Skynet is here. You know, and they put it out in the 80s, and that's what we were walking into.
This has to be a mistake. Because in 1,100 hours, all primary military systems were secure.
They were. Only the civilian sector was affected. Internet, air traffic, power plants, that sort of thing. But then a few minutes ago, we got word that guidance computers at Vandenberg crashed.
We thought it was a communications error, but now it looks like the virus.
Early warning in Alaska's down. What?
Signals from half our satellites are scrambled beyond recognition.
What about the missile silos, the subs?
We've lost contact.
Dear God, you're saying this country is completely open to attack. Theoretically, we could be under attack already. Who's doing this? Foreign power or some computer hacker in his garage? We can't trace the virus. We can't pin it down.
It's like nothing that we've ever seen before. It keeps growing and changing, like it has a mind of its own.
Sir? Shall I? No. It's my job now.
We're in. We passed the firewalls, local defense nets, Minutemen, and subs. Skynet's fully operational, processing at 60 teraflops per second.
Sir, it should take less than a minute to find the virus and kill it.
All access inquiries to your supervisor.
Let's pray to God this works.
Skynet defense system now activated.
Power failure? No. I don't know what it is.
Tony, what the hell is going on?
I just wanted to share something real quick, Elder. I wanted to read something really quick. This one doctor and one of their AI instruments, if you will. I sent this to the GLCC so you can post this to the news stream if you like to show the picture of what I'm about to read. It says, "Is this a mosquito?" Question mark. It says, "No, this is an insect spy drone for urban areas, already in production, funded by the U.S. government. It can be remotely controlled and is equipped with a camera and a microphone. It can land on you, and it may have the potential to take a DNA sample or leave an RFID tracking network technology on your skin. It can fly through an open window, or it can attach to your clothing until you take it into your home." So this is just an example of the AI and the attack that they have on us. You know, even for those who aren't going to openly receive the chip, they're going to find a way to give it to you anyway. So you know that's straight up the enemy. You know, when they're forcing it on you, as well as making it so that you can survive through the buying and selling. So,
Customer pilots directed almost 3,000 precision strikes last year. We're super proud of it. It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They used to say guns don't kill people. People do. Well, people don't. They get emotional, disobey orders, aim high. Let's watch the weapons make the decisions. Now trust me, these were all bad guys. Now that is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped. Now, I said this was big. Why? Because we are thinking big. Watch.
Time to stop. Indeed, we laugh. Refuse to kiss ass. Quick back. Ready to mash cause I'm a bugged out path. Swallow the pain. Follow the mental terrain. It takes a hell of a man. Nowadays, the main thing. Garments bloodstained. Face bruised and battered. Eyes reflect agony of dreams that were shattered and they love it. When we wild out and kill our own. But the greater responsibility, yes, it's still our own. Just lift it. Seem like it ain't no peace, no justice. How you want it? The bullet or the microchip. Either way, you got to lift your fist. We get it down like this. So all my people fall up your fist. Seem like it ain't no peace, no justice. How you want it? The bullet or the microchip. Either way, you got to lift your fist. Worldwide famine. Ghetto people demand that somebody do something soon. And let's examine the facts behind the violent attacks, behind the daily gunplay, the cocaine, and the crack. Thug season. What's the reason for the treason? Everybody's got it. Some got to restore to thieving. Take money, money, make money, money, money. So all my people just lift your fist. Seem like it ain't no peace, no justice. How you want it? The bullet or the microchip. Either way, you got to lift